Hey guys, and welcome to episode number 8. This is the last one of the season, but it's a really special episode for you because it's a new year. Everyone's feeling a bit blue, it's cold, it's the winter time, all the parties are over. So we want to tell you some special stories as a special episode, and it's kind of the old hidden gems and old legends of the Born neighbourhood right here where Ziryab is located. And the rich families in this neighborhood, they own these palaces, right? Little palaces, bigger palaces, depending how rich they were. But this, where Ziryab is, was one of those palaces. And it would have like a lot of different areas. This area where the restaurant is where they kept the animals, the horses, the donkeys, servants. And then the other areas was where, you know, the people would sleep, the chambers, sleeping chambers. So also these old palaces have like wells in them, and the well right here has been converted into a staircase. You can still see where they used to pull up the bucket of water. You caught me having a little snooze, guys. Need to rest sometimes in life. But I'm sitting here on the steps of the Santa Maria del Mar. This is a beautiful church. Don't know if you've been here, but it's they call it the Cathedral of the Sea because of its relationship with seafarers back in medieval times. It was a cathedral that was built by the people for the people. So people literally just kind of lugged huge stones down from the quarry in Montjuic and down like one by one just kind of built this church back in early medieval period. And it's the only church that is fully Gothic in architecture, 100% Catalan Gothic, very beautiful inside, just kind of really tall round ceilings. This church was really important for sailors back in the medieval times. So they would come here and they had a little model of their boat just before going out on a voyage. They would hang it from the ceiling. The ceiling was full of thousands of little models of boats facing in different directions, in the direction of the next voyage that the sailor would take. And with that, he would feel like he was protected by Santa Maria on his next journey. People were very superstitious back in those days. But anyway, I don't know where my brother is. I think he's around here somewhere. And knowing my brother is probably something to do with drinking, a little shot or something. So let's go find him. I heard that there's a little street here that is actually the smallest street in Barcelona. It's only a few meters long, and I bet you that's where we're gonna find Emlyn. Come on, guys. Guys, I'm going to take you to a little plaza here around the corner that has a never-ending flame. The flame is always burning. It represents the War of 1714. You ask any Catalan, what does it mean 1714 to them, and they will say it means everything. It represents the end of independence as they knew it at that time. It's got a pretty cool story to it, so I'm going to take you there right now. So 1714, it was wartime, right? Barcelona had been going through years of war, painful war, a lot of lives lost, but they had really defended themselves. The Catalan rebels had really defended themselves against the Bourbon Spanish forces that were in the city. This plaza called Fossar de las Moreras was actually a cemetery at that time, and they put all the bodies in the cemetery, but they didn't just put the Catalan rebels' bodies or the Spanish soldiers' bodies, they put them all in the same cemetery. So these were people who were huge enemies in life, but they were, you know, bed buddies in death, lying alongside each other. The thing is that the neighbors around here complain to this day that at night time they can hear the skeletons rising up and fighting each other every night. The ghosts of Fossar de las Moreras. So, now that I've told you the story of this plaza, I'm wondering where my troublesome brother is. And I'm pretty sure that now that he's finished selling and drinking anisadeta medieval drinks, he's probably off to find a party. Let's go find him. What are you doing here? Hey, stop dancing. We've got work to do. I want to show them this really cool street right here. Come on, guys. So right here, this street is called Moncada Street. You might have heard of it before. Why? Because the Picasso Museum, super famous Picasso Museum in Barcelona, is in this street. But also, it's a street with just loads of really interesting little facts about it. It was a street of the rich people of the 17th, 18th century in Barcelona. So rich people, we're talking about those same families that own these huge, beautiful, majestic palaces. And this street is full of these old, beautiful palaces. So if you look in any of these little doors, actually I say little doors, but I mean big doors, because they're really big wooden doors that you could fit in horses or donkeys or whatever animals you wanted to fit in there. So you look inside, there's a little courtyard, there's a little fountain, and then all the bedrooms are upstairs, these like kind of big barristers to go up, staircases. So right in the street, there's like one of these old palaces that is used for flamenco shows, another one is for art galleries, Picasso Museum and things like that. What is interesting is that back in medieval times, the women used to sit up in their houses. They didn't go out very much because, you know, women couldn't really be seen out in the street. So they would be up in their houses, but they really wanted to see what's going on in the street. They wanted to gossip. What's going on? Which of the neighbors are sleeping with who? What's like the different issues, problems, who's having economic problems, who's lost their job. They wanted to know it all, but they didn't want to go out in the street. So they had these little windows that were covered in kind of like wood, little latticed wood, and they could see outside, but nobody could see inside. So they kept their dignity. And there's one left in Barcelona, and it's right here in Moncada Street. with the tour. Thank you so much for watching and listening to our stories. We have just one little hidden gem left waiting for you that we want to show you, and that is the extension of Ziryab restaurant. We have expanded just next door, and we're going to show you the extension right now.
Hello.
¡Feliz Año Nuevo!